And here we go. Okay, so welcome back. Today, y'all can see on the paper, what we're doing is we're going over some more factoring examples. And they're a little more complicated ones, okay? So, our first example that we're going to look at is we're going to number 3. Because the last examples finished off on 2, so we're going to start on 3. We have 2x squared plus 17x minus 9, okay? Right off the bat, you should notice that there's something a little different than the examples we did last time, okay? And the difference is this, there's a number in front, okay? So we're gonna handle it the same way. So just like before, we have to label, remember we have to identify our A, our B, and our C. Okay, so remember A is whatever is in front of the x squared or the variable squared. So my A in this case is 2. In the other examples, my A was 1, okay? But for this one, our A is gonna be 2. And we're gonna see how that affects stuff later on, okay? B is what's in front of just the x or just the one variable, okay? So my B is, remember, this positive 17. Make sure you get the sign. So it's positive 17. I can put 17 right here, okay? And then C is whatever the constant is at the end. So in this case, it's negative 9. Not just 9, it is negative 9, okay? So remember, once we have that, we can draw our x. I'm gonna draw that off to here. We can draw our x, okay? And just as a refresher, I'm gonna kind of label everything where everything should go. So at the top of the x, remember we have A times C. At the bottom, we have our B. And then here, I have over A, and we're looking for this, okay? That's what we're looking for, okay? So let's fill in what we have. So let's start with the B, okay? The B is 17, so I'm gonna go and put a 17 right here. Okay, A times C, now I have to multiply these. So I do 2 times negative 9, and I get, let's use green. I get negative 18. And if you want to put that in the calculator, that's fine. You can do that, okay? And then these two, remember at the bottoms, instead of the A, I'm going to leave that, or I'm going to change that to my A. So I'm going to change that to 2. I'm going to change this to a 2, okay? Now, everything is set up on the x, and now I can find what's in these two boxes, okay? So remember, when I find what's in those boxes, I have to make 2 equations. My first equation, remember, is f of x, and that equation is A times C over x, okay? So, for this equation, for number 3, A times C over x is gonna be my A times C, which is negative 18 over x, okay? That's one equation. My next equation, remember we need 2, is g of x. So g of x is the same thing as this, so it's A times C over x plus x, okay? That's it, we just added the plus x at the end. So my equation is gonna be negative 18 over x plus x, okay? Boom, we got both, okay? So now we go to our calculator. It can be on your phone, wherever you got it. I'm gonna go to the one on my phone, put it in the screen. So it should look like that. Hopefully y'all figured it out by now if you did the first assignment. It's called GeoGebra. I put the link like everywhere on the Google Classroom. And we're gonna type in the first equation. So I'm gonna type in negative 18 divided by or over x, okay? Remember, then you click the 3 dots, table of values, and we want to do, let's do negative 15 to 15. That's a good one. Okay, negative 15 to 15. Okay, and then I get the table, okay? So that's one equation. Now I have to go back to the calculator button and type in the second one. So negative 18 over x, slide over 1, plus x. So it's look exactly like that. Once I have it like that, we click those 3 dots again, click table, and boom, there it is, okay? So, if you remember from 2 days ago, what do we need to look for, okay? So, we need to look for the b value in the g of x column. So my b value is 17. So I need to look for 17 in the g of x column. Okay, and we looked for 17 because that's the b value. I'll put a little b underneath here. That's the b value. Okay. So let's go back to the calculator and let's look in the g of x column. In the g of x, I'm looking for 17. So we can scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Up, there it is. See that positive 17 right there? Okay, so when g of x is 17, x is -1, f of x is 18, okay? So I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write exactly what I just said down. So when g of x equals 17, x equals -1, and f of x equals 18. Okay? Oh, slide it up. Move this. There we go. Okay, so now that we have these two, remember, these are the two answers that go in the boxes. So I'm going to box this one, I'm going to box this one, and I'm going to write them up here. Okay? So -1 goes right there. 18 goes right there. Okay? So now we can find what the factors are. So I'm going to divide whatever I got in the box by my a value. So -1 over 2. Can I reduce that or can I divide that? No, I can't. I get -1 over 2. I get -1/2. Okay? I can't reduce that. I can't do anything with that. Okay? On the right side, I have 18 over 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So that one I can divide. I can reduce this one, okay? So now these are as simple as I can make them. -1/2 and 9. So now we can go to the bottom and write our answers. Okay, so I'm going to write these all as, I'm going to write the factors are, ... Okay, so my first factor, x minus 1/2, so -1 over 2, parentheses, x plus 9, okay? Now, some of y'all might have noticed, this doesn't, was this crooked? It is crooked. Why is it crooked? There we go. You might have noticed that this doesn't look right, okay? Hopefully you remembered that I told you you cannot have a fraction in the factor, okay? We went over this, but it was like a month ago, okay? So what we do is we take whatever's in the denominator, what's at the bottom of the fraction, and we bring it to the front, okay? So my real final answer, so my factors are, the proper answer should be 2x minus 1, x plus 9, okay? That is my real final answer. That's the proper answer, okay? So although if you got this, that means you did everything right, okay? You just have to do that one last step of bringing this to the front, okay? So the two factors of 2x squared plus 17x minus 9 are 2x minus 1 and x plus 9, okay? That's it. Pretty easy, okay? Hopefully y'all are okay with that. And we're going to do a couple more examples, and that'll be it for this video, okay? So that's number 3. Let's go to number 4. Let me switch papers. Okay, so there we go. So number 4, we're going to have 4x squared plus 17x minus 15, okay? So exact same steps. And this one we're going to go a little bit faster, okay? So I have A, B, and C, okay? So A, remember, it's whatever's in front of x squared. So A, boom, 4, just like that, okay? Easy. B, it's what's in front of just the plain old variable. So with no exponent, no nothing. So I get my B is 17, okay? Then we get our c. Remember, c is the constants, whatever's in the back. So c, I get negative 15. Okay? Easy. A, B, C. Just like that. Okay? Then we draw the x. And we can start filling stuff in. So at the top of the x, and we'll start at the bottom. At the bottom of the x, this is the b value. So I'm going to put a 17 right there. Okay? On top of the x is a times c. Hopefully you remember that. A times c. So I do 4 times negative 15. I'll write that here. So it's 4 times negative 15, which gives me negative 60. Okay, so negative 60 is my a times c. Okay, then on the right and left, and where I have the line, both of these are over my a value. So my a value is 4. So I put a 4 here and a 4 here, and then a box. We want to find what goes in those boxes. Okay, so now the x is completely filled out, right? All I need to do is make my 2 equations, find what's in the boxes, and we're good. Okay, so let's do that. So one equation, remember f of x equals a times c over x. So we take the a times c, negative 60 over x. Easy. Okay, then we go to g of x. Okay, a, remember, same thing. So negative 60 over x, and we just add that plus x. That's all we got to do. Okay, so now I go to my calculator. Make sure I reset it. Why is it taking forever? There we go. Okay. So on my calculator. Whoa, no. There we go. Okay. So on my calculator, I'm going to go and type negative 60 over x. And then I'm going to push the 3 dots. Table of values. Negative 15 to 15 is good. And okay. Come here. Do the same thing. Negative 60 over x plus x. Nope. See, that can where you can mess up. You put plus x over here. So it looks like that. Click the 3 dots, table of values, and we're good. Okay? So here we are looking for what? Okay? Oh, what happened there? That's not right. Okay. See, I messed up the f of x and g of x. Y'all see what I did there? I put the g of x as the first one. F of x is that one. That's wrong. I should not have done that. So let's go back and fix it. There we go. Okay. So now f of x is negative 60 over x. Yeah, y'all can just fast forward through that part. Messed up there. 3 dots, table of values. Okay, there we go. We're back on track. Second one, negative 60 over x, slide over 1, plus x, 3 dots, table of values. And we're good. Cool, fixed it. So, again, we are looking for the b value, so this value in the g of x column. And if we look there, it's right at the top. Wait, we don't even have to do that much. Looking. I have 17 right there. So, I'm going to write down. First things first, we look for 17. Remember, that's the b value. Let me put a little b. That's the b in the g of x column. Okay? So, when g of x equals 17, I've found that, so if g of x is 17, x is negative 3, and f of x equals, so if we go back to here, when x is negative 3, f of x is 20. So f of x equals 20, okay? And that's it. Well, that's for the first part. So I have these two numbers, so boom, put a little box here, boom, put a little box there, and we bring them up here to these boxes. So I put negative 3 right there, 20 right there, and now we can do all the reducing and all that stuff, okay? So on the left side, negative 3 over 4. can I reduce that to anything? No, I can't. If you put that in your calculator, you would get negative 3 over 4. It would just spit out the same thing. Okay, so that's one factor. On the right side, 20 over 4. Can I reduce that? Hopefully you say yes, or you put it in your calculator. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay, so I have my two factors. Boom, boom. Okay, so let's go to the bottom of our page and write them in factor form. Let me slide this down. There we go. Okay, so the factors are, so I have x minus 3 over 4, and I know some of y'all are probably thinking that's wrong. I have to do the switch thing, but I'm just going to write this out first. So x minus 3 over 4 and x plus 5. Okay? Those are my two factors. But hopefully y'all notice, you need to switch this fraction. You take whatever's in the denominator and you bring it to the front. Okay? So my real final answer should be the factors are 4x minus 3 and x plus 5. Okay? Those are the two factors of this polynomial up here. Okay? Those are the two proper factors. It's still crooked. Oh well. Okay? Those are the proper factors. Okay? So, we have one more example, and it's kind of like a special case type one, but we're going to handle it the same way. Okay? So, that'll be the last example for these notes. Let me slide over. Let me get another paper. So, this page, let me see if I can get on my camera. There we go. Okay. So this will be number 5. Okay. So number 5, the reason it is special is because it looks like this. 9x squared minus 49. Okay. So you might see this one looks a little funky, but it's fine. We'll do it the same way. Okay. So first things first, just like we do A, B, and C, right? So A, B, and C. Okay? Can you see that? Yeah, we can. Okay, so A, remember, that's whatever's in front of the x squared. So here, my A is 9. That's easy to see, right? Okay? Now, my B is whatever's in front of the x. Do I have a number in front of the x? Hopefully you say, no, I do not. I don't even have an x. Okay? So if I'm completely missing an x, that means my b value is 0. I do not have a b value in this problem, okay? But I do have a c value. Remember, I have a constant. That's a number all by itself. My c value is negative 49, okay? So I have an a. I don't have, well, my b is 0, and my c is negative 49, okay? That's fine. We can do the exact same steps with all this information, okay? It's just as easy. So let's go. Let's go make our x. And, okay. So just like normal, what goes at the bottom of the x is my b value. So just because my b value is 0, I'm still going to put 0 down here. I'm still going to put that b value, okay? It doesn't change anything. At the top of this, at the top of the x, remember, goes my a times c. So for this problem, it's going to be 9 times negative 49, okay? And that's a big number. Y'all should probably use a calculator for that. So 9 times negative 49 gives me negative 441, okay? You can use a calculator. You don't have to do that in your head. Use a calculator. It's fine, okay? Okay. So on the right and left side, remember, I have both of these. I have lines. Underneath these go the a values. So my a is 9, so I put a 9 here. I put a 9 there. We draw our box, and we get to looking for what's in the box, okay? This is all the same so far. The only kind of weird thing is I have this 0. Other than that, it's exactly the same, okay? So let's get to our equations. So f of x equals, remember, a times c over x. So I take this, put it over x. So negative 441 over x, which means g of x is just negative 441 over x plus x. Okay, that's it. Okay, now, calculator. So we go over to the calculator. Let me make sure I get it right the first time here. Delete. There we go. Nice. Okay, so first equation, negative 441 over x, 3 dots, table of values. And for this one, I'm going to make it a little bigger because this number is bigger. So I'm going to change it to negative, I'll do 25. And the only reason I'm doing it is because the numbers on top are bigger, so my data might be a little bigger. Okay. Let me go to calculator, second equation, negative 441. Oh, 41, that would have thrown it off. Over x plus x, just like that. 3 dots, table, boom, we got it. Okay, so now what am I looking for? Okay, remember, in the calculator, I look for 0. Okay, now I'm looking for 0 because that's my b value. So I'm looking for 0 in the g of x column. Okay, so let's do that. So in my g of x column, let's scroll down. I'm looking for 0, Haven't found it. And, oh, there it is. See, this one we had to scroll down a little bit more. That might happen, okay? You might have to scroll down more. It just happens. So I have a 0 there, okay? So let me start to write my sentence. So when g of x equals 0, okay, x equals 21, and f of x equals negative 21. Okay, just like that, same thing. So I got these two answers, so boom, put a box around that, put a box around that, and we bring these up here. So 21 over 9, negative 21 over 9. Okay, so now all we have to do is reduce these and we're done. Okay, so 21 over 9, does that reduce? Okay, if you have a calculator, your phone, I don't recommend that because it'll probably turn it into decimal. But just use you can use the Desmos calculator or this GeoGebra regular calculator, okay? And if you type 21 over 9, it should reduce to 7 over 3, okay? Which means negative 21 over 9 reduces to negative 7 over 3, okay? So I have two fractions. So now let's go to write up my factors at the very bottom. If I can get some room. There we go. Okay. So, this seems crooked. That's fine. So the factors are x plus 7 over 3. And I know what we all are thinking. I could just write it the other way, but I'm just going to write it like this. X minus 7 over 3. If you can skip this step, go ahead. But I'm going to write it out for now. Okay, so the step you're telling me to skip is probably to bring this to the front because it's a fraction. So I need to bring the denominator to the front. Now I have to do it twice. So I bring this denominator also to the front. Okay, then we can write the final answer. So I get the factors are 3x plus 7, 3x minus 7. Okay, and that's it. Those are my two factors. I am done. Okay, so even though it looked kind of funky when we started, because there's no b, we do it the exact same way and we still get two factors. Okay, so your only assignment for today is to watch these videos. I will give you an assignment, another factoring assignment on Monday. Okay, and there are going to be some of these like special cases ones, or where you have a values that are bigger than 1. Okay, where you have to might do this like bring the denominator to the front. Okay, that's about it. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Make sure you stay on top of all your assignments. Y'all have been doing a really good job so far. And remember, you can redo any assignments that you have. Okay, So y'all have a good day, and if you're watching this on Friday, like you should, have a good weekend.